congratulations.
But we used to hear that it's bad news. People are dying. You can't be sure of tomorrow.
Thanking you. I want to assure you that tomorrow, all of you will get a reason to read each of the chapters. I just want to mention that there's nothing as bad as war. I have seen the end of war, the extreme of war, the worst of war. There's not, those of you who have been around enough, long enough. So what happened between 1978 and 1990? For most of our regions in Uganda, there's nothing you could do. Land didn't have value, houses were useless, cars would be left, cows would be stolen, nothing would prosper. That's the only thing I can say. There's nothing as good as war. For whatever reason, there's nothing. I've seen the worst of war. And it's all in this book. Any one of us can find themselves there. Try to understand how things happen at war by reading this book. Thank you very much for being even patient enough to listen to that little that I've said. I want to say I'm greatly honored, and please, may we take in from here. Unless there are serious questions, a murder case. You know, when the priest was confessing people and he was tired and they said, no, I am tired. Then the last person told the congregation that he said, unless it's a murder case, you don't enter the what? The confession chamber. So unless it's a murder case, please, I want to stop here. Thank you very much.
You. People like Dr. Chobe, you should really tell the story. We are waiting to see your story on the pages. Each one of us has a story. Each one of us has a story. As somebody said, at 50 years and beyond, you definitely have a big story. So let's try to tell our stories. They may change a life or two. They may influence a life or two. So thank you, Dr. Chiengo, not being selfish, and you put these things on paper. Thank you. And I would encourage all of you to read through. The change, and I think each one of us, people who are here of my age and above, I think this is evidence of how our country has turned around. That we have military officers writing books and calling people to come and sit and launch books. We have transitioned, we have moved. You know where we were before, when they would say the generals are assembled here. I don't know how many people would be here. That is behind us. And that's the beauty of this country. And so we want to thank our Commander-in-Chief, His Excellency the President of the Republic of Uganda, for making it that he has actually groomed an army with a difference. If it wasn't that, we would not be here. The Chiengos would not have joined the army, because the army before then, and I think the Mzee Tatu Jukira, at that time, and I think that's why the mother had wanted to get Chiengo back. But now we have an army with a difference. So we want to thank the President for that we have been able to move our country. We also want to thank the President for exposing our army to various kind of situations and conditions. And one of the best experiences is the Somalia experience. And Dr. Chiengo, thank you for bringing the Somali story. As you'll see in the book, as when I was writing my foreword, I met Chiengo way back 97, when they had just graduated. He came with a water tank as an operation commander. West Nile, by then West Nile Bank Front was really giving us hell. Then he came as doctors, they came, I think there were about 3 or 4 of them. Then when they arrived in the operation area, they asked, Tusulawa? They expected, because they were doctors from the medical school, the graduates, they expected to find maybe a well laid out place where they were going to spend the night. I showed them a grass thatched place and I said, Mugwao. That's how they started their military life. I had thought many of them were going to run away. But the Kiengos and others persisted. Yes, some of course deserted, but the Kiengos and others persisted. And I think that we are here to celebrate that persistence and that life. One of the things that made our service or our work in Somalia different and why we succeeded, where even big forces failed. I think many of you remember the story of 1993 when the Americans were made to run away from Somalia when they went packing. And when we went into Somalia, I can't forget, in 2007, not 2017, 2007. And I'll never forget the man called Opio Lawyer. Opio Lawyer wrote in the New Vision, he's a columnist in the New Vision, and when we said we are going to Somalia as UPDF, he said, mission dead on arrival. Now, what do we do different? And that's why I want to say this to the doctors in this room, the military doctors and others. What did we do different as a military? When we went to Somalia, and I think Guti talked about it briefly, we did it differently. We made Somalis look at us as their brothers, as their friends, not as people who had gone in to do whatever we wanted to do. These people, the doctors, were part of our success story. They are part of why we are still in Somalia, being praised for bringing peace in Somalia. These people, the Kiengos. I'll never forget the first incident. There was a Dr. Yuko, I don't know where he is, but I think he's still in the army. The first incident that happened, there was cholera. And they brought an old man who was suffering from that disease, and they dropped him at the gate, and they thought he was dead. So our doctors picked that man, took him in, and treated him. After 2 days, he walked out of the camp, and people ran away. They thought he was a ghost. Now, we went in with very little medicine for our own troops, but we opened our gates to treat Somali kids, to treat the Somali elders, to treat the Somali sick. And the doctors, I remember when I was telling them, we cannot sustain this. These doctors told me, by then I was Commander Land Forces, they said, sir, you are miles and miles away. We are faced with this problem. How do you expect me as a doctor to sleep when I can save a life of a child just by giving him ORS? And you are telling me that I should not open my gates. So I told them, doctors, you're on the ground, you know the situation better, do the best you can. Thank you for doing the best you could. And those lives were saved. Lives were saved in Somalia by these people. You read in the book how we had to even to connect to an NGO which had an Israeli lady who was giving us the medicines, and the Kiengos were managing that. Thank you very much, because what you did sent an impact. Again, innovativeness. There was this Visutura. This is the Kiengo started operating, ladies. This Visutura, those who are doctors, you know what I'm talking about. And it's very, very prominent in Somalia. And the Kiengos started those operations, and they saved many lives. So I can go on for what the doctors did. But we are very grateful, doctors. We are very grateful for what you did. Working in that environment, as you had, very, very challenging. Dr. Chitaka and other doctors, in Somalia, this is where your principles and the what about having gloves and operating with anesthesia, all that was not there in the beginning, but these people were saving lives, both of soldiers and of civilians. You could go in the hospital and wonder what kind of magic these people are doing. So Dr. Chengo, thank you. Mukama achikubalire, Mukama achibabalire. Yes, because you did a lot for those people. You made them feel wanted, you made them feel loved, because they had thought the world had abandoned them. But with your commitment, with your touch, with your love, and doing what was beyond what you could have, what you would ordinarily have done, you saved the lives of those innocent people. So thank you very much. Next, I want to thank my friend, Kabshenga. Thank you for encouraging us to write, because I remember you did encourage me to write also. When I was, I'd said, what am I going to write? What am I going to tell people? He said, just put it there, then we shall put it proper. So please, if anybody wants to write his story, Kabshenga, he is a very good fellow. I'm not advertising for him, but JFK is a very good firm, and he has helped many of us to put what we could on paper. So it's a great honor for me to stand here before you today as we celebrate a remarkable life of a service, courage, and unwavering dedication. This has been captured on the pages of this book. And again, Brigadier General, thank you very much. They say that if you want to promote peace, start a war. And this is what Chengo was talking about here. If you want to hate confusion and war, go to a war zone and you'll see what is there. Then you'll never want to see that kind of a situation. I don't think any of the generals in this room who have been to Somalia, who have been to Congo, who have been to any of these places, South Sudan, would want to see war in this country. And we promise you, the civilians, brothers and sisters in this room, as long as we are still here, we shall not allow war in our country. So this book, The Cutting Through the Hell, tells a lot about what happened and what is happening. Those brothers of ours are still not out of the forest. They are still in very difficult time, even as I speak. You heard what the ambassador said. He survived. I don't know how many bombs he has survived. He's a survivor, and I don't know how comfortable he is in Somalia, but he has stayed. Congratulations for holding the fort. I've had the privilege of working closely with Dr. Chengo, as you have seen in the book, in most challenging operation environments, as you will see in West Nile, in DRC, in the Western Uganda. When we had just finished the operations against West Nile in Koboko, we crossed with him to Gulu, and immediately, before we even put our pecs down to settle, they told us Wundibujo has been cut off by ADF. We had to go with him to ADF again. And, very flexible officer. And I want to take this opportunity to thank the wife, Mama. And if there's any military man's wife in this room, thank you. Because you have been there, If she was not there, I don't think Kiengo would have been very comfortable to do what he was doing, but also be able to bring up the family. So thank you very much, Mom. Thank you for understanding and enabling Chiengo to serve his country. He is not only high, but to me, the beacon of professionalism, embodying the core values at heart of the Ugandan People's Defense Forces. His actions in Mogadishu, particularly during the devastating twin suicide bombing, demonstrated leadership under fire and innovations under very extreme conditions and pressure. This is a mark of a story of a soldier who does not just carry the rank, but responsibility, and fills it with excellency and enthusiasm. Yet, what stands out even more in is his humility. You have heard everybody talking about it. And I want to call upon all of you, senior officers and junior in the military. Humility is a very good virtue. It doesn't cost you anything. Instead, it earns you friends, it earns you respect. So be humble. It doesn't cost you anything to be humble. Despite all what he has achieved, Dr. Chieng has remained grounded, focused, and selfless. You have heard he's a member of Rotary Club. I hear he's also a member of Lion. I don't know how you manage the two. The Rotarians, we feel we should be Rotarians more, but all that is service above self. So thank you very much. His decision to document his journey in this book speaks volumes. It's not about self-glorification. It's a call to inspire, to mentor, and to pass on wisdom. Definitely, if you pick this book and go through the pages, you can't remain the same. Unless if you just block your brain and you say, I don't want to get anything out. But definitely, you'll get something out of this book. So I would encourage you not only to flip through the pictures and because many times people want to look at the pictures. It's fun and but please read what is on the pages and truly you will not stay the same. This is what true leadership looks like. Creating pathways for others, so that they can even rise higher than yourself. You don't have to be selfish. Dr. Kiengo's story is not just for the UPDF. It's a template for leadership across all spheres of civil society. His focus, his discipline, and his compassion all point us towards a model of service that our nation and continent urgently need. If 60% of Ugandans could act just like how Chiengo has acted in life, I think this country would be far. Without the selfishness, without the being driven by money. Yes, he's making money because he has many enterprises, which of course is taking advantage of the environment to create these enterprises. But he's also creating employment, because I don't think in those enterprises which he's running, it is only his family. There must be many people he's employing. So if we could only emulate some of these good virtues and good values of people like Brigadier General Chiengo, I think this country would go far and has a lot of potential to grow. It's a template for leadership as across all societies. I thank him for his contribution, not only as a soldier or a doctor, but as a son of this nation, who has chosen to give back, not just in deed, but in word, so that others may learn and do better. If there's a youth in this room, please learn from some of these memoirs we have written, and you become better than us. Strive to be better than some of us who have written. Let's look at this book. Please pick it and read it. Let the lessons which are there, I know they will live beyond General Chiengo. The lessons which are in this book, they will live beyond you, because we are all mortal. Today we are here, tomorrow we are not, but what's on the pages, we are now reading books of the Shakespeare's and the rest. Many years ago they went, but what they wrote is still living. So this book will definitely live beyond you. With that, Chiengo gave me a clue. He said, don't speak a lot. I want to end my remarks again. And family, I want to thank the publisher. I want to thank our master of ceremony. And I'm going to buy a book. My book, I'll buy it 1 million, one copy. But I'll also take another 10 copies of 100,000. So 2 million is what I'm going to spend. And with that, I want to officially declare the book, Cutting Through Hell, officially launched. Thank you very much and have a great evening.